wake that ass up.
In the morning.
The Breakfast Club.
Morning, everybody. It's DJ Envy, Angela Yee, Charlamagne the Guy. We are the Breakfast Club. We got a special guest in the building.
The good young brother Cordae.
Cordae.
What's up, y'all? How y'all feeling?
Peace, King.
Peace, God. How y'all feeling?
New album this Friday. Bird's Eye View.
Explain the title. I think I know what I feel like the title means, but explain it.
Yeah, so from a bird's eye view, it's basically like a double meaning, right? And obviously the listener can interpret it their own way. But when I had wrote it, it basically means to see things from outside of yourself, you know, to see things from a zoomed out lens, from other people's, like from another perspective, a multi-perspective album. And it's things that I've, you know, gone through, things that I've witnessed, things I've experienced, things that I've seen. And I'm giving you all of that, you know, from a bird's eye view. I'm taking you into this world from there. So it's like a double meaning.
Yeah, because track number 1 starts off with your brother spitting from jail. Now, how has
Shiloh?
Yeah,
Shiloh.
Now, how has that been? Because I mean, you guys came up together, rapping together, and now you're successful, but he can't necessarily enjoy in the success.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, it's not as fun, you know, like doing like the dope stuff that we do all the time and the lifestyle that we live. It's really only like truly fun when you got like loved ones around you, when you got your homies with you, whoever, your significant other, whoever it may be. That's when it's really fun. So I kind of get a little like guilty sometimes, like a bit of survivor's guilt, if you will, you know. And but you know, we working diligently. Shout out Robert Rooks, he been helping me out, trying to, you know, get him out, working with, you know, all different type of lawyers, and just not giving up, man. You know, it's like it's a story that's like, how many times we heard a story like this, you know?
All the time.
You got 25, right?
Yeah. So yeah, he got 25.
Is that your real brother?
Yeah, for sure. And
because I know on the intro he goes, mom was a stripper, pop was a pimp, and
we was like, it's like the way it is. We like grew up in the same household, like, but different mom, different dad sort of thing. But we've been living together like since we was little. That it's not blood, but it's blood, if that makes sense. You know what I'm saying? You know how I go.
Absolutely.
And but I say all that to say that you know, when we was both rapping coming up, he was popping before I was. Like he had a real buzz going on. And so I feel like everything happens for like a reason. You get what I'm saying? Not saying like he was supposed to like be locked up, but me seeing him like blowing up, that kind of like motivated me in a way, you know? So just trying to get him back out here. So I felt like it was only right to start off the album with my brother just giving, you know, some bars, you know, and he introduced the album perfectly.
And even on the album, you talk about being in a position to be able to open gates for other people. And so in the position that you're in, to be able to help him and get lawyers and try to figure things to be able to help him get out, I'm sure that's important too.
For sure. I mean, because he got locked up in 2017. You know, obviously this is before I was on, and he just turned 18 years old. Like they held him in court. So he got locked up when he was 17. Wow. They held him in contempt until he was 18 and charged him as an adult. So he got 25 years, 24 years to be exact. And him and my boy Mac, who got 30 years. And I was like, man, if I was in a position I'm in now, like we would have been able to get, you know, proper legal representation, you know. And so we just trying to work on it right now, getting my bro home. So
who is this album about? Because I've already been in debates over the past couple of days because some folks think you're rapping about yourself, and they like, I don't know if Cordae about that life. I'm like, I don't know that, man. You know what I mean? Sure. And then I'm like, I think he's rapping from the perspective of his people.
Yeah, no, it's a multi-perspective album, like Mama's Hood.
Love it.
Thank you. I wrote that song like the day after one of my close friends from high school got killed, my boy Pitt. And again, just dealing with survivor's guilt, man. And I'm not like screaming, woe is me or whatever, because this is shit we all deal with just all the time, you know? So I wrote that after the day, like one of my homies got killed, and we used to play on the basketball team together. Like his mom used to give me rides home from school and vice versa, you know? And so that song came from that. Every single song on this album came from like a real life experience, an event. Like the intro, John Michelle, I wrote that like one of the first days of the pandemic. That's why it's so dark and it feels like so like anguish and like hopeless, you know, because that was the frame of mind. Westlake High, like the outro of the song.
That's my favorite song.
Nah, thank you. I wrote that. Man, me and the homies, we was actually off shrooms, man, in the studio. And I was just, and that's when I found that sample. When I picked that joint out, we was like just chopping that beat, going crazy over it. But I was like, man, I wanted everybody to feel like how I felt that day. You know what I'm saying? Because it's a vibe. It goes without saying, right? And but every single song, man, it's a real life event that directly inspired that song, and I transmuted my emotions from these events into the music. You know, I can't get in the booth and lie for 45 minutes. I'm just incapable of doing that. It's always gonna, you know, catch up to you, you know, and you're always gonna get caught up that way. But again, like I said, it's a multi-perspective album, you know. Like Want From Me, I'm speaking of it from the perspective of a woman, you know, like, and it's about like the duality of man and woman. You know, woman was made from the man's rib. That's why we can't live. You be the judge, but ain't no Uncle Phil without an Aunt Viv.
Yeah.
Mother Nature and Father Time, moonlight and sunshine. Everything's interconnected, and it's all by design. Not, you know, to plug my bars in from the album, but for sure, appreciate that.
I wish we understood that as humans, though. I wish we understood that we're all made of the same ingredients.
For sure.
And society is what created this patriarchy and everything else. Like, I'm divine feminine and sacred masculine.
For sure.
All of us are.
For sure.
I wish we understood that. That's what you was explaining to me.
Absolutely.
Now, Lil Wayne, you have more sinister. How did you hook up with Weezy? And Weezy been spitting recently too. The last couple of years.
Yeah, he been going crazy.
Weezy been going crazy.
Man, I admire his hunger, man, because he's just like he's just a killer, man. Like, how in the world do you do music professionally for 20 years plus and still like have that hunger to approach features that way and still put out quality music at such a high rate? You know, and he almost, it's like for my generation invented that of like just flooding, you know. And I say that to say, so we originally had met, you know, he has his podcast, Young Money Radio. Yep. And we spoke on there, and he was like, yo, if you got something for me.
That wasn't in person, right? Because I seen when he was doing it, was on over the TV.
Yeah, this is during, you know, the quarantine era. Yep.
Yeah.
And well, we're still technically in the pandemic, right? But it was the early pandemic phases, if you would. So he was basically like, yo, just send me some open verse and I got you. And like probably 10 months passed since we had that conversation, and I'm in the studio with my boy Ian, and I'm like, I go through Sinister. That was just a record. Honestly, that was gonna be like something that didn't make the album. And I played it for my boy. I'm like, man, I got this. Wayne told me he got me with a feature. I'm like, I don't want to. It's been 10 months. Like, I gotta take advantage of this. You know what I'm saying? So I'm like, you think he'll sound good on this? He was like, yeah. And I'm like, all right, cool. I'm gonna text it. And I sent it through. He gave me the verse back in like less than 24 hours. And it felt real good. It just felt like a hip hop tempo record, you know, and I needed a little bit of that on the album, so it felt really good.
And HitBoy produced that. I saw he said that you guys have like an EP's worth of songs together.
Yeah, we got a bunch of music together. Shout out HitBoy. He's, man, again, having an incredible run, like producer of the year, and deserves it as well. So he's one of the ones.
Are y'all gonna do an EP, you think?
I don't know. We just got to keep cooking. But literally every time we get in the studio together, we make something like this.
It's the magic.
What do you say on the record? You ask for one, he give you 10 or some shit?
Not
like that?
Call HitBoy for beats. I asked for 10 of them. I'm like, I need
for 10.
Don't give me, you know, give me. I need 10 of them. Don't give me 3. Now I know you in high demand, but let me get a pack. And he always blessed me with that. So I'm very appreciative and gratitude.
Let's go back to Mama's Hood. Break that down, because you said it's real life experiences that lead you to write every record. So break down Mama's Hood.
So Mama's Hood, I wrote that, like I said, the day after my boy Jawan Ross had got killed. My boy, we called him Pit. And I'm dealing with survivor's guilt like crazy, man. Like I'm in, you know, I'm living in Los Angeles at this time in a decent neighborhood and all of these things, but it's still so much going on back home that I feel like, you know, we all want to be a superhero, you know, and at this point in time, like I can't bring everybody with me. Like I got, you know, a couple of homies with me, but like realistically, like it's not, I can't bring the whole hood with me. It's just like impossible fiscally. And like for real, it's just the truth. Like we being real. So I try to always put my people in positions of power to where they can do whatever. Like, okay, this homie, and when they're ready, also, you know, okay, got the homie right here. He's really good with styling and clothes. Okay, you're going to be my stylist. My boy right here, okay, I'm bring you on the road with me. You always been organized. You're going to be the road manager. Okay, you good on this. Just so, like, that's the cool thing about doing music, and that's why I got infinite gratitude about the position I'm in, because I'm able to travel the world and get paid to travel the world and make music. Like that concept is still crazy to me. You know, I get to make music for full time. Like I'm at the Breakfast Club talking to y'all. You know, I always like to live in the moment, you know? So I say that to say that I'm able to have these experiences like with my friends, that it makes it so much more dope. And again, I can't bring everybody with me at this point. And so when he got killed, I'm like, man, I could have saved bruh. You know what I'm saying? I felt like,
we
man.
always feel like that.
Yeah, I was like, man, I should have just brought him on tour with me. I could have just brought him out to Cali. I could have saved, bro. That's like, yeah, it's crazy, man.
I was wondering about Mama's Hood. Like, you got the bird's eye view of your Mama's Hood now. You're speaking from a 25-year-old perspective, but when you were there in that hood, in that environment, what was your view then?
It didn't seem like bad to me. That was just like my reality. This is just all I'm used to, you know. But
you leave, and
for
then you're
sure,
like, wait.
yeah. Nah, until I go back, I'm like, oh my God, this joint is terrible. But I say all that to say, like, the things that we normalize, you know, as black people growing up in the environments we grow up in, it's like
it's not normal.
It's not normal. Like, I be telling like some people, like, yeah, man, I just lost. Rest in peace, my boy Lil Tony. Be talking about just homies that got killed like the last couple of years and things of that nature, and they're like, "Oh my God, are you okay?" And I'm like, "Yeah, I'm not thinking nothing of it because it's normal. It's normal to me, you know, like losing homies to either prison, my brother, or homies getting killed, and all of these things." And
we turn trauma into culture.
For sure, it makes some unfortunately tragedy. You can transmute that into good music, you know, and you know it's not worth it. Obviously, I'd rather have my homie here than the song. But this album is just me transmuting all my real life emotions and feelings just into song form, and I think that's where the best art comes from.
For people that don't know the YBN, now on the album you say I dropped it because I didn't own it.
Yeah, for sure.
So break it down for people that don't know why you dropped the YBN.
Yeah, I mean, I can't be out here talking to these kids and preaching ownership when I'm building up this brand that I don't have ownership in. And you know, before I dropped the YBN, I talked to Namir about it. That's all. I didn't really care what the world thought. I just wanted bro's his blessing, if anything, for lack of a better word, right? I was just like, yo, this is what I'm finna do because of this, and that. I just wanted to let you know, and I just wanted your blessing before I did it. And he gave it to me. And that's all that mattered to me. I didn't really care about anything else. So
who owns it?
I'm not sure, to be honest. I came in a little later into the system, so that's something that like a Namir and Jay would have like more information on it. But
now I was also watching Jimmy Fallon, and he was saying that when you come home to your mom's house, your mom still makes you do chores. Is that factual? So your mom makes you, boy, go wash the dishes.
Yeah, she did that like the first couple of times, and then recently I've been getting like a maid service to just help it out.
I hire someone to do it for you.
We getting money now, mom.
Yeah. Now I'll do whatever when it's like something just like that. Sometimes I'll be lazy. I'll be wanting to go home.
You ain't cutting no grass.
For sure.
You're like, I've been working.
Home,
I'm trying to relax.
Yeah, I'm here to chill and cook a meal and get a home cooked meal.
I was gonna say you're cooking also.
Yeah, no, for sure.
You can't cook. What's your dish?
I can make some decent salmon and some. That air fryer, boy, is the best thing since sliced bread.
Especially the reheat French fry.
Oh my God, like it's crazy. I used to have these microwavable fries I used to eat back in the day, and they were mad crispy. But I say that to say that the air fryer takes it to a whole nother level.
Because I used to always say, yo, you can't reheat cold French fries. That was even a metaphor I used to use for life. Like, you can't reheat cold French fries. Like, you don't go back.
Dang, that's a bar.
But with the air fryers, you can reheat
whoever
cold French fries.
Now, going back to having your friends working with you, right? I know you said that people would tell you not to hire your friends. So how has that experience been?
Honestly, man, I get why some people say that, you know, because it's like a trial and error. Like when you first get on, you try to bring the whole hood with you, and I tried that, but you learn like not everybody is built for this lifestyle, you know, and so I've lost some friends through this thing, like. And
people sometimes get entitled to.
Yeah, for sure. Over a sense of like entitlement or not. I'm like, bro, you gotta like flip this and use this entertainment industry to like, and these relationships that you're gonna be able to build just from being around me, and turn that into your own thing and flip that into something equitable.
Like,
you know?
don't be just dependent on me to do everything.
Yeah,
you
maximize
gotta be using
this
and make your own relationships.
For sure, because I'm sure y'all ain't. Like, they don't want to be on the road with me like 45 years old, still like being my, you know, day to day, you know, doing stuff. Like, y'all want to build your own company. I want everybody around me to be a boss. Like, you're not really a boss until you have several bosses around you, and that's part of your legacy. And it's just each one teach one. We just gotta do that. Just you know, not to act like I'm holier than thou and I got all the answers, but I feel like we as black people, we definitely got to do that as much as we can. Absolutely. But putting the right people in the right positions, like building a mastermind alliance, and that's part of being a good leader, is recognizing talent and being able to put it in the right position to exceed.
Now, why was the movie Coach Carter so inspiring to you?
It was just on the TV that day in the studio. Honestly, I was really sitting in the house watching Coach Carter.
Like, I think this movie older than Cordae, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, nah, that I don't.
Were you on shrooms watching it?
Nah, not that time. Not that time.
Bro, you wrote a whole record and it's
Called
dope.
Coach Carter.
Nah,
I was
thank
like,
you.
is this?
It was just like, cause I was again. I remember my uncle had like a Dodge Charger with the suicide doors, and I don't know why that just popped in my head, and I just remembered I was like, suicide doors sitting on 24s, and it was just like, it gave me that real like Jaheim. I was listening to Jaheim Fabulous, like, and I was like, oh my God, this record is like, it just brings that feeling. And not to say I wanted to emulate that, a copy or to do that, but I say that to say I just wanted a song with a real Southern drawl, and when I heard that beat, that really like brought that feeling of like that gritty South thing. So that's why I thought about, I used to dream about a Dodge Charger with the suicide doors and the spinning rims on it back in 05, 06, you know, the Boosie days, or the Chrysler 300s, back when people was pimping those joints out, you know what I'm saying, all of that.
What they got to do with Coach Carter?
Cause it was on the TV, it rhymed, and it was on the TV that they like sitting in the house watching Coach Carter plotting on the Cartier. Look, I was really in the studio watching Coach Carter, looking at like Cartiers on Google, and
that Jaheim record, Fabulous, is phenomenal. You know, because Jaheim challenged Usher to a versus.
Oh, for real?
Yeah, and
he challenged Usher?
He challenged
Nah,
Usher.
he don't want no smoke.
That's what I'm saying.
Nah, that's
Jaheim
crazy.
Is dope, but no,
nah, he's
different.
dope. Nah, bro, that's wild.
Usher's catalog.
Man, I love his confidence, but I love his confidence. I love Jaheim. Shout out Jaheim, but that's wild.
Okay, you a young man, so I'm glad that you're here, and I'm glad we're talking about this. Chris Brown or Usher?
I don't know, to be honest, bro. And I'm not even trying to be like politically correct, like fuck all that. I really don't know. We got to sit here and look at the magnitude of the catalogs. And I wasn't around, but the thing is, like, I'm only 24, you know what I'm saying? So I wasn't like, I was 4 years old when 8701 came out. When My Way came out, I wasn't alive for all of these things. Right. You know, I was like 8 years old when Confessions came out.
You grew up more with Chris Brown.
I grew up with Usher as well, you know, like I remember and all of these things, but I wasn't like out in the club at the time. I wasn't like
having sex
outside.
Usher.
Yeah, exactly. Versus like Chris Brown is like, you know, so I say that to say I don't know, man, but they both like the Michael Jackson. They both icons in their own right.
And it would also be what song is against what song too, because if you're doing it song by song, it depends on what they pick, because they each have way more than 20 songs.
Yeah, way more.
Usher got nuclear weapons though, bro. Like,
so does Chris Brown.
So does Chris Brown.
What?
Usher got 20-year-old.
Excuse me, miss. What? Are you kidding me?
Chris is dope. Chris is phenomenal, but man, Usher, bro.
Nah, they
both ain't loyal. These hoes ain't loyal. That was
for sure.
Nice and slow.
I'm a huge I'm a huge Usher fan, and I'm a huge Chris Brown fan. Like, I took my mom to go see Usher in Vegas at his residency.
Oh, that's dope.
Chris Brown.
Was it Jason Derulo?
No, it wasn't. Okay. It wasn't. I'm sure it was Usher. It was Usher. And one, shout out Usher. He showed me hella hospitality. And like I said, I'm a huge Chris Brown fan. Like, I love like his catalog, man. And I think he's like extremely underrated. He's like a real icon, man. Like, just straight up, just consistency of just being a superstar, you know.
He's phenomenal.
Nah, for sure, nothing less than. So I would love to see that. I would buy tickets to see that.
That would
for
be
sure.
A great.
That is the one. That is one of them ones.
Like, especially if they live performing, they might can do a stadium together.
They cool. So I think.
They could definitely do a stadium. They
for
could do
sure.
That separately. Now let me ask you this: your mom, does she still has a full-time job?
Yeah.
She doesn't want to quit, or she doesn't want to retire, or you feel like it's not time yet?
My mom's only 40. You know, my mom just turned 40, so she's just kind of like, she's still. That's where like I feel like a lot of people hit their strides like within their career. Like, y'all probably, and not to speak for y'all probably started really getting. Yeah, y'all been getting money for a long time. Actually, y'all been doing this for a minute, but I noticed like with a lot of black people, we hit our strides like when we 40, you know what I'm saying, from what I noticed. So my mom liked to stay busy. Like, she do like Zumba classes. She still like works a day-to-day job. So she liked to stay busy. She's a busybody.
She had you when you was When she was 16?
Yep.
Have you ever talked to her about that?
No, not really.
Yeah.
I was gonna ask you. You know, in the album, you say you're underrated, right? You say you're underrated a couple times on the album, but you've been nominated for multiple awards. The OGs effort you. Lil Wayne's on the album. Eminem, Nas. Why do you still feel
Roddy
that way?
Rich. Stevie Wonder's on the album.
Yeah,
Why
for
do you
sure.
feel that way? I mean, because the OGs effort you. Obviously, you're nominated.
Yeah. I don't know, man.
And you get busy.
For sure, I appreciate that. I don't know. I feel like every artist feel like they're a little underrated. And I still recognize I still got a lot of growth to do, like musically, as an artist, as a human being. And I don't know, but I'm at a place in my life, like my new word of this year is just gratitude. Like I really got infinite gratitude. That's my new thing. I wake up every morning and I just say like what I'm thankful for, because I like, what do I look like sitting up here complaining about anything, bro? You know what I'm saying? So but I guess every artist feels like they're undervalued.
Yeah,
anyway.
nobody's going to be
Respect
like,
you.
I'm so overrated. Who's going to say that?
Nah, but
Like,
underrated is like, who do you feel doesn't respect you? Who do you feel that doesn't necessarily get it?
I don't know, because I'm sure if I go on like Twitter, I'll find somebody who doesn't like me. But I realize like the bigger you
Why are
get.
you looking for that?
No, I'm not though. I'm not. I'm saying that, but I feel like the bigger you get, the more it's going to people that love your music, and then some people may not like it. But again, that's music. It's all subjective, you know. Like everybody on earth ain't gonna love your music, and so I don't know. I guess I felt when I wrote that like I wrote that like the beginning of like mid 2020. But you always gonna feel, until I'm like selling out arenas and stadiums, I'm always gonna feel like I'm underrated.
It's refreshing, right? Because on the album, and I'm paraphrasing, you say something like, God willing, we'll sell some records. And you said it almost like an afterthought, like that's not even the most important thing to you.
For sure.
Why do you feel that?
Because I don't know, we live in such like a numbers-driven society. Everything is based upon stats. Like when it comes to sports, when it comes to music, even like when you on a plane, it's like first, and it's all a classism thing. Like it's first class, then you got premium economy, then you got comfort plus, and then economy. And I think it's just
basic economy.
Then basic economy, like it's a separatism, a mode of like separating people and human beings. And I think numbers is another way to do this. Okay, if you score 30 points, you are an elite NBA player. When in reality, if you made it to the NBA, you elite.
That's
you
right.
know, and you know, obviously there's a difference between like a LeBron James and another player who
he was like, let me not do that.
No, I just can't think of nobody.
Right.
But it's a difference. So, and I don't know, man, it's a fine balance. But the way I measure my impact is when I'm doing these shows. Like, okay, if I do this tour and it's all sold out, I know the album did what it was supposed to do. And that's the way I really measure my success. But again, that's still numbers, though. That's still
because you
You
can
have
be
a bar?
critically acclaimed and not sell a lot of records too.
Yeah, for sure. Of like
Who's your
Ticket.
bar?
what do you mean?
Like when you, as far as like just artists, like who's your bar? Like if you say, if I get to this level, then I'm good.
Probably Kanye West. Like musically and creatively. And success wise, my ultimate goal as an artist, man, is to do stadiums around the world. And like within the next 7 to 8 years, I want to be a stadium artist. So until then, going back to the question, then I'm gonna be underrated in my head. And I know that to do stadiums as you're not a full-on superstar until you can do arenas globally. And stadiums is like a whole nother level than that. So when I'm headlining stadiums all across the globe, that's when like I'm be like, wow, like I'm still wow where I'm at now, but that's when I think I'll reach like the peak of my success.
Now she mentioned Stevie Wonder. How did you hook up with Stevie Wonder?
So we originally linked up. He reached out to me to get on a record of his like a couple months ago called "Can't Put It in the Hands of Fate."
Were you surprised when Stevie called you? Was like, Cordae,
Man, no. Let me tell y'all.
If he FaceTime you, you'd be surprised.
No, he did FaceTime me on God, right hand to God. I got.
Why can't he FaceTime?
But look, let me finish. So this
was he looking at the phone?
Let me tell this. I was about to get into this story. I got a hilarious Stevie Wonder story. So this isn't the first time he FaceTimed me. So we linked up, started, because we was working on records for like 4 or 5 days in a row. And one time I'm in my room sleep and I'm laying down and he FaceTimes me. And I answer because I save his number as like Stevland Morris. That's what he told me to save his number as. I'm like, who the fuck is this? Like
Stevland Morris.
And then I'm like,
Save
then he
it.
called back again. I'm like, Stevland Morris. I'm like, oh, that's Stevie. And mind you, I'm laying down in bed and all of that.
He can't see you.
So look,
That's
so
what
let
he
me
thinking, that's
finish.
what
So
he thinking.
it's midnight. And he called me, and mind you, I'm laying down in bed, like I got my tank top on, my headboard right there. He's like, "What you doing?" And it's midnight, and I knew he was gonna tell me to pull up to the studio, but I didn't want to tell him like I'm laying in bed because he's so cool. He was like, "Nah, man, well, just pull up on me tomorrow. It'll be another." But this Stevie Wonder, it ain't gonna.
Right.
I'm gonna pull up on you right then and there.
In the moment.
Whatever, I'm in the moment. And so I'm like, not much, man. I'm chilling in the studio, but I'm looking this man dead in his face talking about something. I'm laying down in bed. I'm like, I'm in the studio. I'm up, I'm working. And he's like, oh, well, yeah, pull up on me, man. I'm at the studio. Because again, like, I didn't want to tell him I'm laying down in bed. But so I looked this man in his eyes, laying down in bed, talking about I'm in the studio.
So
man.
he didn't have shades when he FaceTime you?
He did have on shades.
Okay.
Yeah. But I tell you what, at first, man, I didn't really know if he was blind or not because he moved so like swiftly.
Everyone says that. They don't
for real, I didn't believe
it.
he was blind. And then like I accidentally, I almost tripped him up, and I was like, oh nah, he's blind for real.
How you almost trip up Stevie?
It wasn't me. I seen him almost like trip up. But I say that to say he is extremely like adept, like as a blind man. And he's like, man, he's one of one, bro. Like they don't make him like him no more.
They're not even gonna realize it till he passes.
Bro, the gems this dude dropped on me, bro, like I never got like knowledge and game like that because this is Michael Jackson, big homie.
That's
this
right.
is like yo icon's icon.
That's right.
Like it all kind of links back up to Stevie. Like even the album Songs in the Key of Life. Like I love like Village Ghetto Land. That's like one of my favorite songs of all time. Like he's like his music is so well written, and so I was able to get him to play harmonica on this record. I know I put featuring him, but I'm like, yo, I'll get anything.
Yeah, whatever.
Nigga, you on the track list today, dog, for sure.
I love that Nas line on there when he was like, because that's an old school line. He was like, he tell the young boy, "I've been your age, you never been mine."
Yeah.
Did you when you heard that? What did you think?
I was like, man, that's Nas. You know, Nas is one of my all-time favorite artists and biggest influence, honestly.
And it's not easy to get Nas on a record.
Nah, for sure, it's short. For sure, it's not. But me and Nas had worked prior to that. We did the "Life Is Like a Dice Game" remix. So when I got the call for that, I was like mad excited about it.
He gives you high praise all the time.
Yeah, nah, Nas is the one.
What part of Africa did you travel to?
I went to Ghana for a little bit, and then I was in Kemet, modern day Egypt.
And how did that affect you?
It was a vibe, to say the least. And I know we overused the word vibe, and maybe that's an understatement to describe what Africa was, but it was something I was just calling my spirit, you know. And what I've been trying to practice is not like overthinking things too much, and just when I get that hunch or that feeling or that call to just go with my gut, you know, and just act upon it immediately. And it was a vibe, man. So I went to the Cape Coast Slave Castle, I think it's called. And went through that whole experience.
The door of no return?
Yeah, that was crazy. Seeing the pyramids obviously was super crazy. And it was dope out there, man.
Did you ever hit Gina back about African ancestry?
No, I sure didn't. I need to. I literally thought about that when I came up here, but appreciate that too. That was a gem. Thank you, bro.
I want to know, because you know you're from North Carolina. You was born in North Carolina? No.
Yeah, I was born in North Carolina, but raised in Maryland.
I want to know if you're from the Sierra Leone region. Sierra Leone's Senegal, Guinea-Bissau, because a lot of people from the Carolinas are.
Oh, dope. Yeah, I definitely got to check that out.
Now, you dropped the freestyle before the album came out. Were you surprised with all the reactions and the reaction videos? Like that's when you say you're underrated, I was like, baby, that's what he's talking about. Because when you did that freestyle, I seen so many people like, yo, this nigga could really spit. Like they just heard it for the first time.
Yeah, for sure. It was dope, man. It's always good to get like the people to recognize your work. Every artist, man, it's like, I think it was Erykah Badu. Like, I'm an artist and I'm sensitive about my shit, you know?
What do you mean you think it's Erykah? You supposed to know that.
No, I know it, but I just want to make sure I'm not misquoting. You know, I just gotta make sure, you know what I'm saying? But I say that to say, but yeah, it was dope to get. It's always good to get recognized for your art and people to appreciate it. So as an artist, it's nothing better than that.
How many Birkins have you bought so far?
You gotta ask his accountant, he said.
Like 3.
Okay.
Birkins are very expensive, by the way. That's crazy.
But they're investments, though.
For sure.
Now, I don't know if you look at the
they
price
always
now.
go out.
Right
they
now,
always go up.
About $35,000 for the Birkin. He probably paid anywhere from 8 to 12. So they're great investments.
You know exactly.
But I don't know what the situation is, but your lady's way richer than you.
Way richer than me.
Oh, okay. I heard no Birkin.
No problem with that.
But you know what though? But you know,
gifts though.
Yeah, for sure. Like, it's public information. You know what I'm saying? But you still got, no matter how much money your lady make, you still got to spoil her. You know what I'm saying? I still like to do fly shit like that. You know, you got to.
And it's the thoughtful stuff that matters the most, I'm sure. Too.
Yeah, for sure. And it's like I grew up in a household to where like, if like what a man. you just the mind frame, that Southern thing where like the man just gotta, go above and beyond. So I just try to always, do little slight stuff.
Not in that situation. You just gotta be the nicest man you can possibly be. You ever seen that Chappelle Oprah sketch?
Yeah, absolutely.
That's how you be like that, but nice.
Yeah, for sure.
You have a girl that makes more money than you, a woman that makes more money than you. Who's paying at dinner?
Depends what we eating at. Depends what we eating at.
Nah, for sure.
Who's paying dinner when y'all go out?
I pay dinner every time.
Do you feel like her career makes you have to be more under a microscope? Because they'll look at stuff that you do, and then she gets criticized for whatever, just because I feel like tennis is just...
Accidentally. Is this on? This is about, have I been on?
Yeah, you was just live, but it's all
okay, cool.
Listen, leave him alone. He's shaking. He's like, no, please. He's like, no.
Nah, just making sure. But no. I don't
have to answer no questions about your relationship.
Oh no, it's cool. It's good. That wasn't because of that. Literally, I thought I pressed it. Or maybe it was subconsciously.
You were shaking.
Subconsciously.
You was like,
oh yeah. But
I went on air. But
I was. Don't put that on me. I wasn't shaking. That was just it was unrelated. But I say that to say, not really, man. It's no pressure on that. Like, cause we both are individuals in our own sport, So it's just we just move that way.
Can you play tennis?
Not at all.
You never tried?
Mm-mm. I don't even try, but like
I tried one time, but like she don't try to hop. She don't try. I respect the craft. You know what I'm saying? She don't try to hop in the booth, so I don't try to go on the court.
Do you try to separate the two on purpose because you don't want them to ever start like saying that's her boyfriend? Like, they'll start labeling you that.
Yeah, for sure.
I mean?
Like, I try to just keep the personal life personal and private. That's why you ain't gonna see like
a song for her.
Yeah, you're not gonna see too much like of my personal life. You ain't gonna see like my mom on my Instagram. You ain't gonna see my nothing that's real personal. I try to keep that separate.
Have you ever written a song for her but not put it out?
I don't know, man. We got to see. Listen to the album from a bird's eye view. Let's see. Thank you. Appreciate
Chronicles
that.
Is dope. That Chronicles is featuring her and Lil Durk, and Cordae has to go. So
and not her, as in
her.
Yes,
not
the
her.
artist.
H-E-R.
Yes.
Yeah, that's one of my. Yeah, that's. I rock with that. That her killed that, by the way. Her and Lil Durk.
She's so amazing.
Yeah, they killed that, by the way. They both killed that.
Westlake High School is my favorite record.
Mm-hmm.
What does that song and that school mean to you?
So that was the school I went to, and man, that song was just a vibe, bro, to make in the studio. Like I said, we made it. We was off shrooms, and it was just a great. And not that I'm like promoting that or anything. I'm just speaking my truth.
Absolutely.
And man, it was just a vibe. I think it's like just the perfect outro because it just feels good. I just wanted to evoke an emotion of just taking somebody to a better place with that song. And I went to Westlake High where death rates rise and some people go on to waste the rest of their lives. I think that kind of defines a lot of high schools and well, not a lot. I can't like mass project what every high school is. But it just always hold a special place in my heart because I think that's where I was happiest. Like that's like the only school I went. Yeah, I think that's where I was happiest as a child because I always switched schools so much. Like I went to like 6 different elementary schools. I went to a couple different middle schools, but Westlake was like the most like not stagnant, but the most like secured I felt like as a kid because I always had to move around so much. But this is at a point to where things in my life, at that time starting to get a little better. And so I felt like the most secured and the most
stable.
Exactly.
Now, it says
too, by the way.
Okay, it says Taraji's listed on this album. What song is she on?
She's talking at the beginning of Want From Me. You might not have heard it on the link y'all got because that was like a last minute ad. But shout out to Taraji P. Henson. She from the DMV. She went to Crossland. I went to Crossland High School for like 2 weeks, funny enough, before transferring to Westlake. And she went to Crossland as well, and we from the same area. So it was a dope homage, and she killed it. Like, as soon as I made that record, I was like, yo, I got to get Taraji to talk on this.
I got one last question, because I feel like, I learned a lot about you on this album. And I'm like, what got you to that point? Did you start going to therapy? Did you start doing some spiritual work on yourself? Like, what got you to the point where you were able to even talk about some of these things?
I think honestly the pandemic sort of helped me grow a lot as a human being because I was able to be a lot more like self-reflective, a lot more self-analytical, a lot more just having more time to think about things. I was calling people and apologizing for stuff I did like 6 months ago.
Wow.
You know, and
like what kind of stuff?
I don't want to get into too much detail about it, but I can't think of it off the top of my head. But just basically, like, I'll have an argument with somebody, and as human beings, we all tend to have like main character syndrome, you know, and I just try to think about things from a more zoomed out, wider lens at this time. So that's when I came up, you know, with High Level, my label and my brand in the middle of this quarantine. I was able to, like, I was reading a lot of books. I haven't read on my own, like, leisure, in my own free time since being, like, a kid, you know, like actually finishing books and knocking out a bunch of them. I read like 10 different books. I reread like Think and Grow Rich. I read like Atomic Habits, a bunch of different like self-help books. And I say all that to say that played a part as well, just me reading, but more so just me having a lot more time to self-reflect, to be self-critical, self-analytical, and just think about like, what do I really want out of this thing we call life? What do I, and me recognizing the position I'm in, because I'm kind of in a living social experiment. Like it's like trading places. You take somebody, and a lot of artists and people in entertainment, we're all like a living social experiment. Because it's like you take somebody from the bottom who comes from nothing, come from the trenches, whatever, and you get them access to millions of dollars and fame and all of these things within a year's time, a couple years' time. So this whole concept of being famous and fairly wealthy is like still brand new to me. And they literally made a movie about it. It's Trading Places, you know? Or without the second half, right? But it's a social experiment. So I had to deal. I never really got time to sit down and like breathe and take it in, like what I've done so far. What position am I in? Okay, how can I move more calculated and make the most out of this thing that we call life? And that's what the pandemic allowed me to do. And through a lot of this is where these songs came from. That's where, like I said, a John Michelle, a Mama's Hood, a Want From Me, Coach Carter, like a lot of reminiscing, nostalgia. I was able to travel a lot, like without having to work. Every time I travel before, it's because I got to do a show that same day. I got to do meet and greets, do whatever else I may have to do. So I wasn't able to like really enjoy and you know, really see these things. So I was going back home a lot. You know, traveling to Ghana, traveling to London for a little bit, Paris, and just New York. I love creating in New York. New York's just a vibe. Like it's just a straight up vibe. I think I wrote Sinister in New York, matter of fact. And yeah, just trying to grow as a person. And I'm far from perfect, man. I ain't about to sit up here and act like I got all the answers.
We
and
all
I'm
figuring it out.
Man, I'm figuring this out day by day. I'm winging this thing, man, for the most part. And but just trying to do it with a little more self-awareness, that's all. And just trying to grow every day, man. Like I'm never gonna pretend like I'm infallible and I'm on my square 100%. Like I make mistakes like everybody else do. I'm far from perfect, but I'm just a nigga trying to figure it out, man.
And
that's
it's
all.
never gonna stop. I'm 43 years old and I'm in therapy and I got sacred purpose coaches and spiritual leaders and all kind of stuff. It's never gonna stop.
Man, that's how you know you're getting money, man. When you're able to invest into like your well-being. You know, like I just got like a holistic practitioner, and that was like life-changing for me. Shout out my boy Nate. I gotta get a therapist. I never thought about it, honestly, until every time I come here, you make me contemplate getting therapy. But I say that music is like my therapy for me. Like me writing down with that pen and pad, that's why I'm so vulnerable with my music and so transparent. But yeah, man, just trying to grow step by step, plant a seed day by day.
Well, let's get to a joint off the album. What you want to hear?
A bird's eye view.
What y'all want to? You know, let's start off with Chronicles, man. I think that's gonna be a good. I think that's gonna be a big one.
I think so too. Chronicles featuring her and Little Dirk.
Make sure y'all go grab From a Bird's Eye View, man.
Please do that.
Salute to my guy Cordae.
Appreciate y'all.
Cordae. Cordae, you one of the good ones, man. We gotta start celebrating the people in our culture, especially the young ones that's doing the right things and not the goofy shit.
Nah, I appreciate that, man. Appreciate that. That mean the world coming from y'all. Infinite gratitude just for y'all having me up here. You know, at one point in time, like, I mean, I used to complain about the you know, the interview grind, the promo grind, but now I was like, man, it was one point in my life where I would have killed to be on the Breakfast Club. I would have killed to be interviewed, for somebody to even listen to me. So I appreciate y'all for supporting me since the very beginning, and happy to be here, man.
We
for
definitely
real.
appreciate you too.
Dope.
All right, well, it's Cordae. It's the Breakfast Club. Good morning.